Right now, over 60% of adults do not have a will, and most of them have no idea what actually happens to their money, their house, and even their children if something happens to them tomorrow. It's not what you think. The government has a default plan for your money, and you are probably not going to like it. Stay until the end because I'll show you exactly how to fix this in under 30 minutes for almost no money. Welcome back to Broke No More. This is not a topic anyone enjoys thinking about, but it might be one of the most important videos on this channel. Subscribe now because protecting what you've built matters just as much as building it in the first place. Section 1. The government already has a plan for your money. If you die without a will, it's called dying intestate. And here's what most people don't realize. You don't actually get to choose who gets your money anymore. The state does. Every state has something called intestate succession laws. These are pre-written rules that decide exactly who inherits your assets, and they almost never match what you would have actually wanted. For example, in many states, if you're married with children, your spouse does not automatically get everything. The estate often gets split between your spouse and your children, even if your kids are minors. That means your spouse could legally need court approval just to access money meant for raising your own children. If you're unmarried and have no kids, your assets typically go to your parents, not your long-term partner, not your best friend, not the charity you cared about. The state's default list, period. Section 2. Your bank accounts get frozen. Here's something that catches families off guard every single time. The moment you pass away without a will, your individual bank accounts get frozen immediately. Your family cannot simply withdraw money to pay for your funeral, your mortgage, or even basic bills. Everything has to go through a legal process called probate. And probate without a will can take anywhere from 9 months to 2 years, depending on your state and how complicated your assets are. Meanwhile, your family is dealing with funeral costs, your mortgage payment, your car payment, all without access to the money you actually left behind. I've heard real stories of families having to take out loans or use credit cards just to cover basic expenses while waiting for the court to release frozen funds. A will doesn't just decide who gets your money. It dramatically speeds up how fast your family can actually access it. Section 3. Who raises your kids is not up to you anymore. This is the part that hits hardest for parents. If you have minor children and both parents pass away without a will, you do not get to choose who raises them. A judge decides. The court looks at extended family members, grandparents, aunts, uncles, and makes a decision based on what they believe is best, which may have nothing to do with who you actually trusted most. Maybe you wanted your sister to raise your kids because she shares your values. Maybe you specifically did not want a certain family member involved. Without a will naming a legal guardian, none of those wishes are documented anywhere. The court has zero idea what you wanted. This single section of a will, naming a guardian, takes about 2 sentences to write, and it might be the most important 2 sentences you ever write. Section 4. Family conflict becomes almost guaranteed. Here's a painful truth from legal professionals who handle these cases. The families that fight the hardest are almost always the ones where there was no will. Without clear written instructions, every family member's interpretation of what they would have wanted suddenly becomes valid. Siblings fight over sentimental items. Step-families clash with biological children. Distant relatives show up claiming a share. A will eliminates ambiguity. It states clearly, in your own words, exactly what goes to who. Studies on estate disputes show that having a clear will reduces family inheritance conflicts by a significant margin, simply because there's nothing left to argue about. Grief is hard enough. Don't leave your family fighting over guesswork on top of it. Section 5. The fix. How to actually fix this in under 30 minutes. Here's the good news. Fixing all of this is much simpler and cheaper than most people assume. You do not need an expensive lawyer for a basic will. Step 1. Use an online will service. Platforms like Trust and Will or LegalZoom let you create a legally valid will in about 20 to 30 minutes for $50 to $200, depending on complexity. For most people with straightforward assets, this is completely sufficient. Step 2. Name your beneficiaries clearly. List exactly who gets what. Your house, your savings, sentimental items, everything. Step 3. If you have children, name a legal guardian. This is the single most important section if you're a parent. Step 4. Name an executor. This is the person responsible for carrying out your wishes and managing the process. Step 5. Get it witnessed and notarized according to your state's requirements. Most online services walk you through this automatically. That's it. 5 steps, 30 minutes, and your family's protected from everything we just talked about. So let's recap what happens if you die without a will. The state decides who gets your money, not you. Your bank accounts freeze for months, sometimes years. A judge decides who raises your children, not you. Family conflict becomes far more likely. And the fix, a basic will, completed online in under 30 minutes for less than $200. I've linked the will services I mentioned in a few books on estate planning in the description below. This is genuinely one of those things that takes 30 minutes today, but protects your family for decades. If this video opened your eyes, share it with someone you love. They need to see this too. And subscribe right now, because every week on Broke No More, we cover the financial truths nobody else is talking about. Comment below. Did you know any of this? I read every single one. You are not broke forever. You are just one move away. This is Broke No More.